All right, what's up, all day fam? We back again tonight for another night of all day football, our nightly news. So let's see what we got here. All right, so I think the first, so I woke up this morning to some, I guess you could say, bothering news about Mike McDaniel. I guess we can start off with that. So, and this is a, I guess it's an immature part of my end that I thought that Mike McDaniel, it was official that Mike McDaniel was the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, and it's not. It's not official until that ink is on that paper. So the actual deal was Jim Harbaugh tells Mike McDaniel, "Hey, if no, yeah, I think the deal was that Mike McDaniel told Jim Harbaugh, "Hey, if I'm going to be the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers, if I cannot find if I cannot find an opportunity for a head coaching opposition for a head coaching job." Jim Harbaugh, of course, he agreed to that. So that's the stipulation. If Mike McDaniel cannot find a head coaching job, he's going to be the Chargers offensive coordinator. So hopefully, for our sake, we will not find out their coaching job, or saying these teams are not really as interested, maybe as he is, might be interested in that position. But it's still a win for the Chargers because it shows that he will like to coach Justin Herbert. But at the same time, it shows that if he can be a head coach again, he's not going to pass up being a head coach for Justin Herbert. So that's the situation. And so today, I know he flew out of he flew out of LAX to go to Buffalo. I don't know when. I think he's going to. I think he's interviewing with Buffalo. He was interviewing Buffalo today. I don't know how it went. I haven't heard anything from it. I'm thinking that if it did go well, maybe we probably would have heard something. But I think I said this last night. The irony. I said this last night that it will be a terrible place for anybody to go to, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, you got Josh Allen, you got the number one, you got arguably the number one quarterback in the league, you got arguably the number one running back in the league. You got two big pieces right there. But I just, if I was a head coach and I saw what the owner, I mean, I showed you guys the video last night. If I was a head coach looking for a job and I saw what the owner did, throwing the throwing the former head coach under the bus, firing him, blaming everything on him, and we saw the mistakes that Josh Allen made. Nobody did that with Josh Allen. Sean McDermott didn't coach that. Josh Allen did that. And so we see that, and he all of a sudden, the owner blames it on the head coach. It's not the head coach's fault that that happened. So that just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I get it. You want to be a head coach. You thinking that that might not be the situation with you, but I wouldn't want to be a head coach under an owner like that, because what makes you think that he won't do the same exact thing to you? Like, really, what makes you think that owner will not do the exact same thing to you? And not only that, the GM, he people were saying, analysts were saying that the GM didn't do anything for Josh Allen. He didn't draft well. He didn't get them any good free agencies. He wasn't really doing his job. So I can say that much. He wasn't, but he gets promoted. So I mean, you gotta really, I think of me, if I'm a head coach, you gotta be picky. You gotta be picky and you gotta take that stuff into consideration. I don't think the Bills head coaching vacant is as attractive as the media tries to show it. I mean, again, I'm not big on Josh Allen how most people are anyway. So that's that. Hey man, look, we're gonna see, everything's going to come to fruition, and we're going to see what's going to happen, how this is all going to play out. But I hope Mike McDaniel stays to the Chargers. I think that would be the best bet for Mike McDaniel. I really do. Now, I would have liked to have seen Mike McDaniel with Baltimore over Buffalo. I think Baltimore is a better, more stable place for him than Buffalo. But Baltimore went on and took one of our coordinators already. They took Jesse Minter. I don't really like that situation. I don't like. I mean, I talked about this last night. Jesse Minter with Baltimore. I don't like it. Some people have mixed feelings about it. A lot of people think that it's a pretty good hire because Jesse Minter, he's going to bring that defensive guru to Baltimore, and Baltimore does have some elite pieces around there. But I mean, at the same time, I like I said last night, I believe that the problem is that we need to get Lamar Jackson over the hump. We need to see how we can help Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson, to my knowledge, same for Josh Allen, never really had an offensive play. Well, no, Josh Allen did. He had Brian Daboll. Lamar Jackson hasn't really had an offensive guru and or offensive coach in general. And we see what Lamar Jackson does without that type of help. For so many years, people always talk about. And this is why I think Lamar Jackson is such a better quarterback than Josh Allen, because Josh Allen has had help. He has had better situations than Lamar Jackson has. Now, don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson has had really great elite defenses around him, and Lamar Jackson hasn't really played the best in the playoffs. But if we're going to be completely honest here, Josh Allen's playoff success is not that much better than Lamar Jackson's. If you think about Josh Allen's performance in the second round of the playoffs, he hasn't really been. He's been really exceptionally well in wild card. Wild card, I think he's undefeated in wild card. He goes out and he plays well, and then the second round he doesn't play all that well, and that needs to be said more. I think Nick Wright said something about that Josh Allen is probably the greatest quarterback ever playing in the wild card, but then he's becomes about to be the most terrible, in the divisional round. And I want to do research on that. I'm going to look into that because I've seen some of the games that Josh Allen played in the playoffs, and I was not impressed how much people are. And like I said, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson was any better. He hasn't been, and we all know Justin Herbert hasn't been either. But for some reason, the narrative changes when it gets to Josh Allen, we outside of Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. The narrative just changes, and like I said, and that's what kind of irritates me about people with Josh Allen. They it's Superman saves the day when his team wins, and it's freaking the team's fault or everybody else's fault when they lose. So that just kind of like just bothers me. I mean, yeah, but anyway, I think it would have been phenomenal if I would have liked to see. I would have been, just as a football fan, I would have been curious to see Mike McDaniel in Baltimore over the Buffalo Bills. I just don't. I just think it's going to be the same result with Buffalo. Josh Allen already had an offensive guru. I think Brian Daboll is an offensive guru. I think he is. So, and Brian Daboll is actually better with running quarterbacks than Mike McDaniel is. So, but hey, man, if Mike McDaniel wants to go to Buffalo, be my guest. We got Brian. We can. I think we can squid. I think we can grab Brian Daboll. I really do. So I've even said this before. I said that I almost think that Brian Daboll is almost just as good as an hire as an offensive coordinator as Mike McDaniel. What makes Mike McDaniel so sexy is the fact that he has the offensive schemes that he like this the offensive schemes that he does are so creative, and it makes it very, very hard on defenses. And yeah, shows to become chart. Yeah. I also too. I mean, it's not a finished deal yet. I mean, he hasn't been signed with the Bills, so he could still be the offensive coordinator. We just gotta wait to see. I think the Bills is our biggest threat. I believe if the Bills doesn't go through, I believe he comes back to LA for a second interview and he signs with us. So I believe that's how it goes. So I don't blame Mike McDaniel at the same time, but I think he needs to think a little bit more wise on this situation. I think he needs to look at the situation that he's putting himself in. Yeah, we just pray. Yeah, definitely. We just pray. Must pray. Yeah, I completely agree with you, bro. Like, I mean, but I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying that if we do lose Mike McDaniel, if we do, it's not the end of the world. We can go after. I think the best, obvious next best choice is Brian Daboll. I think that Brian Daboll, he's going to do wonders, almost just as well as Mike McDaniel. For Justin Herbert, maybe better because Brian Daboll, like I said before, I don't know if you heard me I don't know how when you just got popped on by came in this chat, but
Brian Dayball, he's better with running quarterbacks than Mike McDaniel is. Much better. So that it might, and it might be a blessing in disguise. It might be a blessing in disguise. So it's not over yet for Mike McDaniel. It's not over till it's over. We still got a shot. We still got a chance to get Mike McDaniel. But again, if he leaves, it's fine. But I read some stuff. I read some stuff across the internet. I don't know how accurate it was. It was saying that he's not even the Bills' top three choice. And the Bills, they didn't only interview Mike McDaniel today. They also ironically interviewed Phillip Rivers. So it's not the like I said, it's not the end of the world. And I've heard names coming up for Phillip Rivers being the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Phillip Rivers is a huge experiment, and the fact that I think they will bring Phillip Rivers in as an interview, who will get who will we get as defensive coordinator? Yeah, we got to look into that too. Who will we get for the defensive coordinator? I think that's a good question. I know we interviewed the head. Well, hold on. Let me pull some stuff up. Give me a second. As I'm pulling this up, I I saw that we picked up not picked up, but we interviewed a coach from Tennessee. That head coach, I think it was a head coach from the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, Zach Orr, Denard. Yeah, yeah. Zach Orr. I'm not really. I'm not. I don't really like either one of those. The defensive coordinator from Tennessee might be kind of interesting, but Zach Orr. I mean, we saw the disaster with that. I don't understand why Chargers will request an interview with Zach Orr. I really don't. But hey, be my guest. Let's see here. Oh wait, let me go to Chargers page. Hmm. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, we picked up. I was trying to see if I can go on the page, but yeah, it was a. We interviewed the defensive coordinator for Tennessee and also Zach Gore. Like I said, I don't really know too much. I don't really. Do you think we bring in another wide receiver? Do you think we will good enough with Lad, QJ, Trey Harris, KLS? Okay, good question. Yeah, I mean, all right. Here's my thing. I don't think any of those guys will be elite. Maybe Trey Harris. I don't. I mean, I don't. Audrey Pleasant from the Rams. Pleasant. Is that is that the defensive? Is that the offensive coordinator? Aubrey Pleasant. I think that was the offensive coordinator. Let me see. Yeah, passing game coordinator. He was well. He's not an offensive coordinator, but he was a passing game. He was assistant head coach and passing game coordinator for the LA Rams. Oh, he also played for Wisconsin. Let me see. Oh, he's a defensive coach. That's what we interviewed. Yeah, interesting, right? Because it showed. Well, hold on. Go on. Let me go on his page. That's interesting. We interviewed him because for the Rams, He looked up as a he was a passing. It says, hold on, let me pull up this page so you can see. Hold on. Is on the Rams page, it says he's a assistant head coach and a pass game coordinator. We interviewed him as a for a defensive position. Yeah, that's I don't know. Like, hold on, let me see what LA is doing. Let me see. Let me go on the Chargers Facebook. Hold on. Yeah, so they interviewed Zach Orr for defensive coordinator. They also completed an interview with Denard Wilson for defensive coordinator. They interviewed Drew Terrell for offensive coordinator. They also interviewed Arthur Smith for an offensive coordinator. We've also interviewed Brian Callahan for offensive coordinator. We interviewed Shane Day for an offensive coordinator. Shane Day may not be a bad option. We also interviewed Marcus Brady for offensive coordinator. So I don't know. I didn't see Aubrey Pleasant on there. I'll have to see where you got that. But I did see that we did interview somebody from LA from the Rams. But let's see here. But yeah, it says the Los Angeles Rams are at risk of losing another assistant coach this time from within their own city. The Los Angeles Chargers requested to interview assistant head coach, defensive. Oh, he was a defensive pass game coordinator, not just pass game. He was a defensive pass game coordinator. Aubrey Pleasant for the team's defensive coordinator position. The Chargers defensive coordinator for the past 2 seasons was hired to be the Baltimore Ravens coach. He may not be a bad option, actually. I mean, I thought the Rams defense was solid. So he might that'll be I think he'll be a good option as a defensive coordinator for the Chargers. This is Pleasant's first known defensive coordinator interview request this offseason, although he could garner more interest if a team hires a Rams assistant as their head coach, such as Chris Shula or Mike LaFleur. However, Pleasant could also be a promotion candidate if current defensive coordinator Chris Shula leaves too. McVay has hyped up Pleasant as a potential future head coach in the past, including naming him head coach for a few Rams preseason games. Pleasant has coached in the NFL since 2013 and spent the past 3 seasons with Sean McVay as the Rams defensive back coach and passing game coordinator. He became assistant head coach in 2024. Nothing is imminent, but Pleasant can't formally interview until after the NFC Championship game. But as the coordinator hiring cycle begins to manifest, Pleasant's name could continue to surface for teams looking for a quality defensive. Now, I think he will be a better fit than Jesse Minter. Yeah, I honestly do. He will be much better than Jesse. I because I saw him coaching. I think Pleasant will be if he will probably end up being the best defensive coordinator in the game if he gets with the Chargers. I think that's how good of a coach he is. I think that's how good of a defensive coach he might be. And the Browns passing defense was pretty good this year. Let me see what the top passing defense in the NFL this year was. Let's see. Let's see. I like him. Now we cannot, like I said, we cannot get him until we cannot interview him until after the NFC Championship game. But if the Chargers can get him as a defensive coordinator, we didn't lose anybody. We didn't lose Jesse Minter. I think he'll be much better. So if we can get Mike McDaniel and we can get Pleasant, we'll be good, man. We'll be good. But it's gonna be hard because Pleasant, he does really well with the Chargers. People are going to start requesting him to be a head coach very soon. Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay. Like I just read, Sean McVay was already saying that he's going to end up being a head coach one day in this league. So, hey, man, but I think he can help us bring a Lombardi Trophy. I think he can make that defense much better than Jesse Minter. I'm not knocking Jesse Minter. I like Jesse Minter. I think he's a really, really good coach, but I don't think he's as dominant as people try to make him seem like he was. I don't see defensive genius, defensive guru from Jesse Minter. Now I do think that Aubrey Pleasant could be a defensive guru. So we're going to see, man. We're going to definitely see. Yeah, so I now I know who he is because I remember watching the preseason and watching the Rams this year, and their defense was pretty good. It wasn't bad. Now it has fallen off a little bit towards the end of the year, and it did kind of fell off a little bit, get a little suspect in the playoffs, but they're pretty solid for the most part. And I think he's a really great coach for the most part also. So, but yeah, to also answer your questions about do I think we're good enough with Ladd, QJ, Trey Harris, and KLS? The answer is no. I don't think we are. I don't think any of those guys are elite. I don't. Maybe Trey Harris, maybe elite one day, but I don't know about Ladd. Ladd, I mean, I think he really had a bad year this year. A lot of people are blaming that on Keenan Allen. A lot of people are saying that Keenan Allen pretty much took over and why Ladd couldn't really get involved in the offense. But I'm not comfortable with that receiving room. I know a lot of people in the building are. I know some of the people who are like on Charter podcast say they are, but I'm not comfortable with it. I'm really not. I mean, now if we get Mike McDaniel or somebody like what's the guy's name? Brian Daboll, I think we'll be good. I'll be okay with that because I just know those kind of coaches, offensive coaches, they're going to scheme up some stuff where almost anybody will look good in their offensive scheme. But if we can't pull off Brian Daboll or Mike McDaniel, I say we need to bring in an elite wide receiver. We really do because Justin Herbert is going to need it. He's going to need that real solid, stone cold number one, that alpha wide receiver. And Ladd McConkey, he's not it. I thought he might have been it, but he's not it. QJ, he's not it. Trey Harris, he's not it. KLS definitely isn't it. So, yeah, I think we should bring in another wide receiver. I don't know how deep this draft is at wide receiver, but we definitely need to start looking. If there is no attractive wide receivers in the draft, again, like I said, we need to go into free agency and we need to start seeing who we can get in free agency at wide receiver. I still like Hill. I still think Hill will be better. I think Tyreek Hill will be better than all the receivers that we have. So if we brought in Keenan Allen, why not bring in Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is years like better than Keenan Allen. So I would like that. So I know his age and his off the field problems puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, but it's fine, man. Jim Harbaugh will know how to deal with him. If we can probably snag AJ Brown, that would be solid. That would be solid too, AJ Brown. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't think the Eagles wants to release AJ Brown. I don't think they want to let him go. The owner already came out and said he doesn't want to let AJ Brown go. So, but we'll see though. We're going to see. Sometimes money talks. Sometimes if they can get AJ, if a team is giving the owner a good price for AJ, an offer that he can't refuse, I don't think that he will. I think he will at least listen. I do think that. So let's see. Let's see what other news I want to talk about in this league, in the NFL, or even in college. Let's go to college football real quick. All right, so I am on 24/7 Sports, and there's some guys to look out for. 2027 wide receiver Sebastian Laura burst into the national radar with a stellar performance at Battle Miami. When looking for a prospect in the 2027 class who could eventually blow up with a truly national offer list, look no further than Orlando, Florida Lake Nuna receiver Sebastian Laura. He's 5'11", 165-pounder. It was an extremely tough cover for defensive backs over the weekend by Miami. Where's Bio in Miami? I don't know where that's at. We're looking for a prospect in the 2027 class who could eventually blow up with a truly national offer list. Let's see. He's a top 100 wide receiver. Top 100 wide receiver Jordan Upshaw. He's in depth on each of his 6 finalists. Jordan Upshaw is one of the most talented players in the entire country as a junior. 6'1", 196-pounder, just put on a show in San Antonio against the nation's best at the 2026 Navy All-American Bowl. He has a top 6 and is closing in on a commitment. So I think these are guys coming out of high school. Let's see. Let's see. Jaden Upshaw. 6'1", 196. He's out of Lee County. Went to Georgia. He's from Georgia. So he's looking at Alabama, Auburn, Miami, Tennessee, Texas A&M. Scouting report, confident wide receiver with a well-rounded game that should offer some inside-outside versatility. He took cushion with his acceleration before attacking the football at all 3 levels. As he gets large and doesn't shy away from contact, competitive when surprised is secured as he sheds tackles in tight quarters with his balance and power while using his vision to extend plays. By far one of the better prominent perimeter blockers to emerge in recent cycles as he will latch into defenders and look to drive them into the ground. Might not be the biggest or fastest target, but has a knack for getting open on time and his aggressiveness, field demeanor is hard to find. Projects as a potential trusted Z at the power 4 level that can do the dirty work and make tough catches, which he has done the past 2 years against top Peach State-based competition. He finished junior with 47 catches, 92 yards, 8 touchdowns in 10 games after missing a few contests due to injury. Okay, solid wide receiver. Let's see. Let's look at the transfer portal. All right, so Miami transfer offensive tackle Kinsler, fourth visit, has SEC visit set. Another in the works. So Miami was their offensive tackle, transfer linebackers Michael Harris, Andrew Harris. I next stop as a way playing together versus staying split. Transfer linebackers Mike are brothers in the portal with a decision to make. Michael Harris and Andrew Harris. And then Rutgers flips and signs Boston College commit Kevin. Oh wait, hold on. Kevin Hums, who played at Maryland. Let's see. What y'all think about Lane Kiffin going to LSU? Lane Kiffin builds all-time great transfer portal class at LSU as Prince Will Umanelli commits. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but let's look into this. This is going to be interesting. Lane Kiffin with LSU. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does with them. They say that he's building an all-time great transfer portal class. College football transfer portal king has assembled the nation's best transfer class of the last 4 off seasons in his first month at LSU. LSU ranked the top. Let's see. Lane Kiffin widened the Tigers' lead over the rest of the field on Wednesday by adding top rank. He's an edge rusher, Prince Will Uman Mellon. The Tigers sit number 5 nationally with 39 commitments, remain the only program with multiple top 5 players in both 13-5 and 4-star commitments, 5 more than the next best class, Ole Miss with 8. LSU class is already the highest rated transfer haul since 2022. It could challenge for the best all-time ranking with several targets still in play, including Colorado offensive tackle Jordan Seaton, the number 4 overall player in the portal. Wow. Several teams outpunch their weight class with budget-friendly deals. Stanford leads the lowest ranked class at 20. See. Most impressive transfer portal class, LSU, Notre Dame. Okay, we already talked about that. And then college football transfer portal, lowest ranked. Yeah, we already talked about that. All right. Ain't nothing much about that. Like Rutgers set to host key transfer edge rusher target on official visit. Lane Daniels document. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look at still stick with college football. See what ESPN got to say. So that's one of the top news in college football. Indiana, Texas Tech reload, and the portal king comes to LSU. Could Lane Kiffin get a natty with LSU? We're gonna see. Let's see. Ranking the best players in the college football transfer portal. Let's look at that. Best players in the college football transfer portal. Let's see. After weeks of anticipation and early announcements, then 2 wild weeks of being open, the NCAA transfer portal is now closed. The off-season transfer portal window for FBS players.
Math, history,
10 years.
social studies. It's all been leading up to this moment. Life is short, but lunch is shorter.
There is no spring transfer period.
That's the Lunchables effect.
Which players emerge as the most players in the transfer portal. Brandon Swordsby, quarterback out of Cincinnati. He's transferring. So he's transferring. Swordsby is 3 years on RPOs. He anticipates extremely well. That's pretty good. Being anticipatory quarterback is
surprise. It's unlimited cash back, Gary.
Peyton Manning.
And help players get
unlimited 2% cash back, includes leaf blowers.
He's a powerful runner, so he's a dope back.
No surprises.
And good
Just
quickness.
unlimited
This is an
2% cash
player
back
in the
on
pocket
every
who
purchase.
Processing and navigation skills were pressured. That's some pretty good talk.
I believe that Phillip Rivers right now, along with like a young Sean McVay and some of these coaches they took flyers on to be head coaches, would be a very good head coaching candidate.
I can't believe those words just came out of your mouth. I am stunned. I am stunned considering how you raved and railed against the Buffalo Bills. All right, for letting go of McDermott. You were
past that now.
Yo, RC, hold on.
Sean's gone.
RC, where was Mike Tomlin before he coached the Steelers?
Defensive coordinator, Minnesota Vikings.
Thank you. Where was Harbaugh before he coached the Ravens?
Special teams coordinator.
Where was McDonald? Where was McDonald?
The number 1 player and transfer. This is good too for next year. So we can some of these guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't watched football. I'm going to this year. Let's see.
Play fake. Sorsby taking a shot. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
That's the guy they really want to get involved with the football. Right there, you get a switch release. Your one-on-one is a slot fade. He dropped this pass versus Nebraska last week. That's Satterfield. Most.
Play fake. Sorsby taking a shot. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
That's the guy they really want to get involved with the football. Right there, you get a switch release. Your one-on-one is a slot fade. He dropped this pass versus Nebraska last week, but that time that's Satterfield motioning the running back to empty right there to uncover the defense.
Shot downfield. He zeroes in, flicks the wrist, and Royer is wide open. Wrestled down inside the 20. Pascal makes the touchdown saving tackle. 3rd and goal, Cincy.
Great.
Caldwell, stop and start. Lunging, touchdown, Cincy. A 9-yard score, Sorsby to Caldwell. Between the two in the first half. Play fake, Sorsby open again. Royer for the 2nd time today.
Hey, James, that's what the play action pass does for you, right?
Brendan Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback. Sorsby got him over the roof.
Yes, good eyes down the field.
Real 9 yards away.
Side, 2-time conference coach of the year, both the Sun Belt and the ACC. Sorsby to throw for the first time, wide open out of the backfield. He won't have it here.
The offense we expected. Look at number. See a missed tackle by safety Marcus Neal Jr. Had an opportunity.
Pryor is the running back. Sorsby will keep it.
Line, pass.
Into the end zone. He'll high step in for the.
You're seeing the speed, the transfer.
Dual threat quarterback.
22nd trip to the red zone for Cincinnati and their 22nd score.
And the quick change. Let's see if they can do it again.
Sorsby going to tuck it and run himself. Has a ways to go to pick up the first down, but that's exactly what he does. Diving across.
Throw from and just watch this arm angle. Watch the arm angle. That's how you turn two. That's how you turn two. This time.
Touchdown, Cincinnati!
You know he's going to do this year.
Dalton Johnson.
Maggie, be nice. Here's a fourth down. And it is caught. Another big pop, but it's held on to. A first down for Cincinnati.
Impromptu running back.
Interesting. Let's see what the next. I guess I can watch highlights on this joint. It's all right. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, so Brandon Sorsby. So he's the number one player in the portal. He looks like a really quarterback, especially when he's out. But we don't have to see how he is in real. I don't have to see how he is in real time. So let's see what he brings to Texas Tech. The Red Raiders are not going to be in their battle with LSU. Hey, LSU was trying to get him? Yeah, it was just weird. Like he was finally in this really good starter in Texas. And also the game this season was shut out. The Red Raiders returned a lot of playmakers in 2026. Preseason beat 12 favorites first teams. The rival also allows Hammond to recover from his 20 over as Tech starter in 2027. So I think Texas Tech fans has a lot of things, a lot to look forward to. It's going to say Cam Coleman, wide receiver. He's transferring from Auburn to Texas. Sophomore, 6'3", 201. One of the most talented receivers in the country with one of the best highlight reels in the average 14 yards per catch. That's a lot. Wow. Over his 2 seasons now. Some passes not good. He can become more consistent in this area, but he's a good target and tackle by control. The ability to come out with contested using the big wide receiver contested catches is always a plus. He has to be able to run by corners. He tracks the deep ball well. He's more like an X receiver, sounds like. He can make the finish miss, and his speed makes him a threat after the catch. So he's fast, he's big, strong. He's always not like that he freaking cross balls. Something like that. Arizona to LSU. So LSU got the number 3 player. Then we got Joseph Seaton, offensive tackle. He's 5'30". We got Gary Mensa. And we got Principal we just talked about him. He's going from East, falling Lane Kiffin. That's what LSU 6'5", 245. Let's look at his starting point. Alman Nealon is in a single player coming off a breakout year. He's long with strong active hands and explosive offense that means a relentless pass rush with bend and burst to continue to get better. He closes from the makes plays, chasing from the backside and knows the gap at the point of attack with a powerful shot and needs to find it. He has all the tools. Kiffin and Tigers are trying to assimilate all-time great quarterbacks. Uman Nealon was an important piece of the puzzle as a premium pass rusher. LSU has added premium talent along the D line between pass rushers Uman Nealon and Jordan Ross out of Tennessee, defensive tackles Malik Blockton and Stefan Green, and incoming the one overall recruit Lamar Brown. It's that you better do something. You better do something. That's all I know. Like the coach from Indiana, he had already showed us you don't have to go out there. You know, dudes that play. Like for real, Cincinnati, that's what he's so it's going to be a very interesting football year. It's going to be very interesting football in general. It's going to be very fun.
darkest peak. South Carolina. Agua, tackle on Texas Tech. Wake Forest. Damian Wilson, second edge, going from Missouri to Miami, and then Drew Messmaker, quarterback from North Texas, going into Oklahoma State. I'm gonna just do top 10. Let's see. See here. Let's get back to football. All right, so let's get back to NFL. All right, I'm gonna try to restart. So you all know I gave you all my predictions. I can't remember what I specifically said. Like, oh, let me pull up my notes real quick because I said that I got Seattle winning it all. We're back in it. I just wanted to go a little bit of college football, but I had New England winning it all. I mean, not New England, Seattle winning it all. I don't even think I gave my predictions of what was going to be the score between Seattle and the Rams. I think the entire world is picking the Rams to win against Seattle. I got Seattle beating the Rams 24 or 27 to 23. So I got Seattle beating the Rams 27-23. I also got the Broncos, like I told you about before. I was going back and forth, but I was trying to figure. I was like, man, the Broncos, because that game between the Broncos, both of these games can go either way. Both of these games are going to be very, very close, and they're going to be very physical, intense, heavy games. But I know a lot of people are thinking New England's going to beat the Broncos, but I don't think so. For some reason, I think Broncos can come away with a win. We're going to have a Super Bowl rematch between the Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. And we all know that Seattle, they dog walked the Broncos. But before we get to the Super Bowl, I got the Broncos beating the Patriots 22-21. Seattle beat the 27. So according to this article, Patriots are no in the playoffs. 2 14-3 teams won at it. So a lot of people are picking New England to win this. Like I said, Broncos are not the favorite. The Patriots were picked to win their first 2 playoff games by 85% of the panel, so it's hardly a surprise. The wave of momentum continues into the championship against the Chargers and the Broncos. Backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham will make his postseason debut in place of Bo Nix, who broke his ankle in the division round against the Bengals. Stidham, a Patriots fourth round pick, complete unknown Charlotte take a good unknown house. Stidham will handle the spotlight the Patriots need to prepare for his absolute best. Stidham has made 4 career starts, 2 for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2022 and 2 for the Broncos in 2023. And his best chances to find a run game and defense is not play lights out. In these games, you have high leverage plays and you need to make 2 or 3 others to win unless the defense takes the ball away. I don't think the Broncos' offensive weapons are good enough to carry the quarterback. No, they're not. But we're not just talking about the offense. Like, the entire game is played with offense and defense. The Broncos is a good team. And sometimes you have a really good team, really, really great coach. You don't need that much of a quarterback. Patriots coach like Vrabel is well aware, and he's another thing too. Greg Mean isn't playing all that well. He's not. I don't think he's playing on it. So Mike Vrabel is well aware that good things happen. The Patriots are in the playoffs. 0-4 is including 0-2 in the AFC Championship game. Vrabel is still a star linebacker. Still not so affectionately remembered in New England as the game with Ben Watson. Play. Denver is 18-5 in home playoff games. It's hard to play. That's one of the toughest players to play in home. Broncos' strength is on defense, and they would have needed a strong showing from their unit with dominance. They won 14 of their last 15 games in large part because the defense had allowed the second fewest yards and third fewest points in the game. Yeah, that's the thing. Ramon Mitchell's help. He wasn't the reason why the Broncos. He was the trailer, not the track. So why should we get for this? They won 14 of their last 15 games in large part because of the defense that allowed the second fewest yards and third fewest points in the game. And you know, the 68 regular season down 33, reigning MVP, and 2 interceptions, and rushing champion James Cook also lost a fumble, which was fairly shocking for the defense. The Broncos' pressure will be a major concern for Patriots with MVP Henry Bridgewater, who was sacked 47 times in the regular season and has been taken down a league high 10 times in the playoffs. They have won 6 times, 3-3, thrown into 2 interceptions with their when you get sacked a bunch, the ball is going to come out. Of course, that's going to the Denver's formula all week. That's what the Patriots will combat. I think we see a lot of the running the ball, in this team. And I think J.K. Dobbins is back as well. So motivated by all types of Patriots defense entered the middle with 5 minutes, 3 sacks in the 2016 victory over the Texans. It wasn't a surprise. The Patriots ranked 14th scoring defense, 18th this season. Their 35 sacks were for the 7th field in their 19th. Not that they don't really got a pass rush, but they also sacked Washington. What they did sack Phillip Rivers times and made him twice when he lost in the third game. New England plays good enough to team defense. So that's that. And then so we got Seattle versus Washington Rams. So kickoff Sunday, 6:30 p.m. at Fox. So a lot of people got Seattle. Oh, a lot of people got this. Got Seattle. But here, the winner may very well be the Super Bowl favorite. And the Seahawks will be of course. And the Seattle Rams have looked like the best teams in the league for the most part. Of course, yes, they have. They already had one clash that could go down as the game of the year. The Seahawks will serve at home 38-7 and 16 Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold delivered a strike to the Eric Subart to walk off to the conversion goal for the NFC. Seahawks have won 8 consecutive games, including back-to-back conversations of the San Francisco 49ers, first top seed on the line in the finale, and then in the division round, their last 4 wins in the playoffs. Or eviscerations, I think eviscerations. While the Browns have won 3 in a row, they looked more vulnerable with the 5-3 record since 2013. They blew a 10-point lead in the wild card round against the Carolina Panthers before erasing a pair of 4-quarter deficits in the 34 to 31 to win. Rams needed overtime Sunday to survive. Chicago Bears who had a sudden death possession with a chance to advance. Stafford led the league with 4,707 yards and 46 touchdowns. Puka Nacua led the NFL with 129 catches. And I think he has 129 catches and 107.2 yards per game, while Wyatt out Devontae Adams with 14 touchdowns. Kyler Williams has 42 yards and 113 touchdowns. The Browns will focus on stopping the run to make some. I think everybody should blame the Browns today because the Browns they've been there. The Seahawks might have the best defense led the NFL in points allowed and ranked third to run. 6 in takeaways, 25, tied for seventh in stats at 47. They all needed to win. Listen, man. I mean, Matthew Stafford, he hasn't been playing all that well this postseason either. And he's going to come out there and not play, not show up against the Rams in this playoff. Against the Seahawks in the playoffs. I think it's going to be a huge disappointment for him. I think he can play a big game, but I think it's going to be a huge disappointment for the Rams and Matthew Stafford. And I think there's a lot of questions on Matthew Stafford if he goes out there and he doesn't play good. So a lot of people got the Rams because they're like, the Rams won the first game. It's hard. It definitely is hard to beat the same team twice in the season. It's definitely hard to do it. It's not going to be a walk in the park, man. It's not. It may truly come down to Donald though. The Seahawks have had to 172 rushing yards over the last 4 games. They'll have to make up for the losses that. Yeah, this right here sucks. This sucks for Seahawks. He was playing so well. Of course, ACL on Saturday against the Niners. That sucks for me. Now you still got Kenneth Murray. What's his name? I think his name is Kenneth Walker, the running back. But the third is a really good guy. Put up 3 touchdowns last week. But Zach Charbonnet towards ACL on Saturday against the Niners. Charbonnet had 236 yards and 4 touchdowns over the last 4 games. But Ken Walker has 364 rushing yards and 4 scores during the same stretch. So he had a strong first season with the Seahawks, but turnovers are always a concern. And Darnold has 14 picks this week and has at least 11 picks in all 6 of his NFL seasons as a full-time starter. Darnold had 4 interceptions, 21 and 19 losses to the Rams in Los Angeles, but he survived the home victory over the Rams. Darnold shouldn't have to be flawless, but he will have to be a driving force in the win. And if these NFC West folks can capture the drama that captures the rest of the league in week 16, it will be a nice way to set the stage for 2 weeks of Super Bowl hype. So that's that. With all that being said, I told you all, I see Seattle winning it all. I do. It's going to be a huge story. Seattle, Denver. Last time Seattle played Denver, and that might be a story again if you guys get them in the quarterback. And, with one mix being out for the rest of the season, and we're like, Seattle's going to get their shot again to blow out Denver. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Seattle's going to be able to. But that might be talk. Because again, last time they played, Denver got blown. But yeah, football season is ending, unfortunately. But I mean, football season never really just a year. Football season. It's just a year. If you're a football fan, you're always looking to see what your team is doing. Like college, you're looking to see what the college team is doing. Then you're looking at the draft, you're looking at the combine, you're looking at who your team is doing, free agency, who is signing off season. There's so much stuff that goes on in the off season. For a true, legitimate football fan, football season. I went on to just make a decision. I said, it's a huge sacrifice that I'm willing to make. If I want this channel and bring it grow, I just got to do it. So I just got to find things to talk about. I gotta look up and research news. That's why I'm like part GM, part scout, part head coach, putting all those hats on. Part speculator of the game, commentator of the game, talking about the game, talking about players. I even go into high school, talk about guys that's coming into college, guys from college that fail. We're gonna have fun on this channel. We're just gonna freestyle and hey, whoever wants to intervene, you got questions, you want to talk about something, please chime in. You're the producers of this show. If I have stuff that I want to talk about, if I don't get to it, no. If I don't get to it because we're talking, we're chatting, you got something you want to talk about, or you're mad about your team, you want to get something off your chest or whatever, yada yada yada. Be my guest, If I think it's worthy to talk about, I'll talk about it, I mean, so I thank you all so much for watching. And like I said, I'm gonna be on here at least 30 minutes to an hour. So far, I've been an hour. I was calling myself like, I'm gonna be 30 minutes and I'm gonna get into an hour. So it's a lot to talk about. And so there's always something that you can talk about. So, but thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you want more,